beating Minecraft in 15 minutes, something that took the entire Minecraft community 9 years and thousands of players speedrunning every day. I want to do it too. Sort of. See, I was trying to get my first ever sub 30-minute speedrun, something I'd been trying to do on and off for about a year. I didn't just beat Minecraft in under 30 minutes though, or even 25. 17 minutes! This time is faster than Dream's fastest run ever. You probably can't tell from my reaction, but I don't deserve it. Like, at all. I went from a personal best of 30 minutes to 17! That's not supposed to happen. Unlike the 100-meter dash, Minecraft speedruns involve a lot of luck. Lucky spawn, pearl rates, blaze drops, chest loot, stronghold generation, dragon perch, you get the point. My 1745 got lucky in every single category. I spawned next to a village with a ruined portal. This allowed me to enter the nether in just 4 minutes, only to spawn inside of another fortress. I killed 10 blaze compared to the average 14. There was a bastion in sight, which gave me pearls, and I entered the end in 16 minutes. Did I mention the stronghold was exposed in the ocean, and the dragon took less than a minute to kill? I feel like I got this run because of luck. That's it. And I hated that. I promised myself I was not only going to beat that time, but beat Minecraft in 15 minutes. First, I'd have to get quicker at entering the nether. My current strategy is to loot a village, killing an iron golem to make a bucket so I can make a nether portal. But on average, it takes 5 minutes to do that. That's already a third of the time I need. Introducing pirate strats. See, I'm not the only one to learn villages are a slow way to enter the nether. About 2 years, the speedrunning community learned that shipwrecks are OP. They can be found in any ocean and contain a ridiculous amount of iron and gold. But there is a problem. Where's the lava? How are you gonna enter the nether? This is where the brilliance of pirate strats truly comes to light. All you need is a magma ravine. You can build a nether portal underwater, and it's way faster than a lava pool. Looking at this for the first time, it's like magic. So, instead of getting 5 or 6 minute enters, I was starting to get 3 or 4 minute enters. Side note, there is a shipwreck directly in front of me. You cannot see it. Minecraft is terrible. So even if I had a good world, I'd end up missing it because I can't see through the water. Speedrunners have thought of this too. In the Minecraft files on your computer, there's one called options.txt. You can open it and change your gamma. We go from this to this. You can actually see the ship now. And with this tactic, I was beginning to average 4-minute nether entries. Plus, I got a really cool timer in the top right. I feel legit now.
What's RTA and what's IGT?
Yeah.
RTA is real time, ITG is in-game time. So if I pause, it doesn't count. Let me tell you though, a timer does not make you better at the video game. I had yet to get another 25-minute run. Sometimes I would die in the end as I'm killing the dragon. I did learn some useful things though, like 1, do not bridge with wood in the nether. It'll light you on fire. You'll fall in lava. 2, you're not as good at the video game as you think, okay? Chill out, play to your skill level. But as I started to review all of the footage of my deaths, a pattern started emerging. Piglins. Broadly speaking, you need ender pearls to finish a speedrun. And if you would have asked the speedrunning community 2 years ago, how do you get a lot of ender pearls, they'd have probably said you kill endermen or trade with villagers. Not in this day and age. We speedrunners use pigs. See, watch this. He's gonna take the gold bar and he's gonna give me let's try again. He's gonna give me ender pearls. He gave me nether bricks this time. It'll be ender pearls this time for sure. I promise. Come on, you guys are embarrassing me. I need some pearls. Hey, there we go. So you might have noticed, it's a bit rare to get pearls. Fortunately for us, we can combat this by trading copious amounts of gold. Where are you gonna get a lot of gold in there though? Bastions. For example, if we take all this gold and get a whole bunch of piglins in a small area, I'll explain how to do this later, over 3 stacks of pearls. Not only that, but we get fire resistance potions, string to make wool to kill the dragon. I'll explain how we kill it with wool later. This is really when my speedrun started becoming fast. In fact, I got my second sub 25 ever. No! Yes! Sub 25 by 3 seconds! Long way off from 15, but progress is progress. I gotta admit though, I still didn't know how to loot bastions quickly. Not every bastion looks the same. In fact, there are 4 different types, each one with a bit of variability. For example, you see how this one has some basalt up at the top right corner here? This one doesn't have that. That sub 25 run utilized this bastion, which is pretty straightforward. But I knew if I wanted to get good at speedrunning, I'd have to master every route for every bastion. So I started researching, and I've learned a lot. This one, for example, it's called stables. If I'm walking up here and I see that this gap right here is 2 blocks tall, I know for a fact there are no gold blocks down here. But if I go to that same spot on a different bastion and the gap is only 1 block wide. I know that I can place a block here. I can dig in the wall. I'm in this staircase. I go down here, and there are gold blocks right here and down here. You have to memorize this sort of thing for every single bastion type. Not only that, but you gotta survive, man. Piglins are tough. They'll just slaughter you. It's a bad day for everybody. Here, take this, sir. Please don't be mad. Before I knew it, I was on my best pace ever, leaving the bastion at 9 minutes. All I needed to do was find a fortress and kill Blaze. I was even in a call with friends.
Dude, I'm on like a really good pace.
11:37. Oh, imagine this is the run where he gets sub 15. And we're all talking about.
Oh my gosh! As you said that, you. Oh,
I know. I did not say anything, Parker. You are.
Oh no! I thought that would be the hardest part. Dying on a good run. Little did I know this would happen over and over. Before I knew it, I was addicted, staying up till 1 a.m., 2 a.m., speedrunning my mind out. I just wanted to get the next PB, the next good run. I was staying up so late that I started making promises with my friends to go to bed. I'll set a hard cap on 12:30.
How did you do that? He opposite made a pick.
Although they were late nights, progress was beginning to show. In 1 hour, I got another entry at 340, 240, 319, 220. Okay. 230, and just looking at my mechanics, I was getting so much better. But Rek, what happened to all those good nether entries? Did you just die a ton? For the most part, no, actually. These runs would end because I can't find a bastion. What's the point entering in 3 minutes if it takes another 5 minutes to find a bastion? This is when I learned of a strategy that would help me find bastions through walls. You do this with the F3 screen. For example, if I load into the nether, this line of text next to the E, this is showing you how many entities are in your rendered area. In our case, there's 148, but the number in front of the slash shows you how many entities are in your current field of view. Speedrunners will shrink their current field of view, so now I'm only looking at 10 entities. And if I spin around, I'll see that there's 30 entities in this direction, while over here, there's only 13. Bastions have a ton of entities. We can even get more tricky with it by increasing our render distance, and I know that there's a bastion within about 11 chunks of here. Just as the F3 screen predicted, here's the bastion. Finally, after weeks of practice and a few days before Christmas.
Come on, one more.
Let's go! Beating my 10 seconds! Wait, let's go! This was a huge moment for me. The seed, it wasn't incredibly lucky. I knew how to play it well, and I did. As much as it was exciting though, it's a long way off from sub 15. Worse than that, I had bet on pace several times to PB, only to die and lose the run. It was on this run in particular, after dying to a terrible pearl, that I started developing a new mindset. Holy frick, mistakes were gonna happen, that's a fact of life, and that's a fact of speedrunning. The way I started to think about it though, is I'm just collecting mistakes. If I make this mistake throwing a bad pearl, I'll never make it again. I've learned my lesson. One good run, for example, died when I was fighting blazes, but I was holding my shield. I didn't know how I got lit on fire, so I looked it up. And it turns out, the way blazes aim at you while you're holding a shield, they can just barely hit your head if they're lucky. The way to prevent this is to always be jumping or be on the same level as blazes. In the nether, you often don't have a lot of food. One good tactic though is to kill hoglins, because you can get cooked pork chop, which is like the best food in the game. The reason I died here is because soul sand is slightly lower than a normal block. That difference on the soul sand is enough where the hoglin can reach you and kill you. I had to learn dozens of tricks like these the hard way. Now up until this point, I've kind of neglected something pretty important. You know how we can find a bastion with this E number in the top left? Let's say you finished looting bastion. You need to find a fortress. How are you gonna do that? Turns out if you hold Shift F3, you can use the pie chart in the bottom right to find a freaking fortress. You can think of the pie chart as a file directory, and we can manipulate that directory to detect spawners. In our case, we'll press 4, 1, 1, 3. We're now detecting all block entities. The blue are mob spawners in our rendered area. In this world, for example, we have a spawner, and we're at 22 chunks, but if we backtrack a couple, refresh our pie chart, it's no longer there. The spawner only appears going from 21 to 22. Now, if we turn on chunk borders, we can cross over one chunk and see if it's in that direction. Now, it's not going to be in a straight line, but I know that it's 21 chunks to the north. We can even repeat the same process a couple chunks later to help pinpoint the direction, and what do you know, the fortress is right here, Although you do have to be wary of these bastions because this type of bastion actually has a spawner down at the bottom. So if you see this, you gotta restart. But it helps a ton, and I started pulling off 20-minute runs consistently, even getting some 18-minute runs, and finally...
Wait, that's a PB.
The reason I might not sound that enthusiastic is because, one, I only PB'd by 20 seconds. But two, I had a run that same day that was much faster. I entered the end at 1350, but I goofed up hard. Only weapon against the dragon were 4 beds. You can technically kill the dragon with it, but I just wasn't skilled enough. I messed up. I would have beaten my record by almost a minute. It's instantly purging! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You know, I've seen people kill the dragon with beds before. I thought it was gonna be easy, you know? You just place down a bed, it'll blow up the dragon, easy as that. Look at how much damage my beds are doing. You can kill the dragon with 4 beds. I use 6 here and do basically 0 damage. Thankfully, there's a couple of legendary YouTubers out there, like Boomer Plays. This guy has the best tutorials on the planet. The dragon's head basically has 2 hitboxes, but only the small one is what really counts. You have to detonate your bed as this small, tiny box is right above the head of your bed's mattress. And you only have a couple frames to do this. If you mess up the timing, you're gonna do little to no damage to the dragon. On top of that, if you don't even know the right side to go to kill the dragon, you won't do any damage. In our case, the dragon's spinning to the left, so we would have to stand on the left side. After all of that, it still took me 8 beds to kill the dragon. Most times, you're not gonna have 8 beds. After a little bit, I hit a 7 bed, which isn't good, but it's like a passing grade. I didn't really start getting good until I found this practice map. You just click on a sign, and you're all set to go for a 1 cycle. And it worked. The very next day, I hit the 4 bed in a real run.
Oh, I hit the 4 bed.
I don't know if it was the confidence of the 4 beds or I just got lucky, but the next recording session, I had 4 runs where I entered the nether in 2 minutes. One of which, I entered a bastion, still at the 2-minute mark. My best pace ever by far. I entered the fortress in 6 minutes and left the nether with everything under 10 minutes. I entered the portal room at 13:30, but unfortunately, I only had 9 eyes. I needed 11, and the run was dead. Dude. The sad thing is it could have been preventable. I threw pearls to travel faster when I needed them to enter the end. I ended the run feeling the most demotivated I had ever felt. I recorded this on my phone that night. Over the course of this challenge, we've only made like 40 seconds progress, which is really sucky, actually. I'm not sure if sub 15 is possible. I've spent weeks and so many hours trying to get it, but I just wasn't there. I needed to save minutes. I started watching some of my favorite speedrunners, almost as a comfort, but then I had it. Stronghold generation. As you can see, we're 1,500 blocks away. Normally, walking from spawn to the stronghold is a huge waste of time, but what if I told you I could get this number to be 400 blocks away? First, we gotta understand how strongholds generate. Let's imagine this lime green block as the spawn of a Minecraft world. There will be 3 strongholds that generate in a ring anywhere from 1,400 blocks to 2,800 blocks away. Since we typically enter the nether around here, and since traveling in the nether is 8 times faster than in the overworld, we can actually move out to where this ring is, build another portal, and guarantee ourselves to be closer than if we had been from spawn. This is what's known as blind travel. You have to memorize specific distances for specific locations in the nether, but it gets even faster. Imagine we built our first portal here. The Eye of Ender will tell us the stronghold is in this direction. We can then go back into the nether, utilizing the 8 times faster travel, and build another portal right on top of the stronghold. And it can save minutes off any time. To do it, you simply need to throw one eye, measure the direction it's going. In our case, it's heading about this angle. Go over a couple blocks, throw another eye, and measure the angle again. We can then use these 2 lines to pinpoint exactly where the stronghold would be off in the distance. The more accurately you measure the eyes, the more accurate your stronghold estimation is going to be. If you want to get the exact coordinates, though, down to the block, you're going to have to zoom in. In my case, for my computer, it's 31. Yes, you have to memorize different FOVs for different monitors. Make your sensitivity extremely low and line up your crosshair pixel perfect. You do this by pausing your game game repeatedly, moving slightly with each pause. In most cases, speedrunners will use this bot that you see in the top left corner, which is legal, by the way, and it tells us that the stronghold is 200 blocks away, and it gives us the exact coordinates of the stronghold. That's pretty OP, and it was a huge debate in the speedrunning community to decide if it was legal or not. Personally, I was against it at the beginning, but at the basic level, you can make these calculations by using trigonometry. Yeah, that thing you learned in school that you thought you'd never use. So, I thought to myself, if I do the trigonometry on paper, I think I'd be fine using the calculator.
I'm back in school, baby.
Yes, I watched multiple online lectures because I could not remember how to do trig. It's been 2 years from high school, but I think I got a decent grasp on it now.
I've been working on this problem for almost 3 hours, okay? I've done a lot of work, a lot of math. I've messed up so many times. But according to my calculations, the stronghold is 351 blocks away at these coordinates. We're gonna double check our work with this command. Please. Yeah! So we're like 70 blocks off, but that's because my 2 data points were only 27 blocks apart, which I could change in the real world, and there's some error due to rounding. So my math freaking worked, dude. I did all of this. Plus, I did it again. The stronghold should be 1,327 blocks away, okay? 1339! 1327! I was off by 5 blocks! Oh, that was so much work. I'll stick to using the calculator, but I can do it, and it's so cool.
December 13th, I pulled off this strategy, traveling back through the nether and building a portal at the bottom of a lava lake. I spawned inside of the stronghold. It was gonna be close, but a sub 15 was possible. After entering the end at 14 minutes and 8 seconds, all I could do was wait for the dragon to perch. I crafted my beds, but then disaster struck. I had to use 2 pearls to get to the end fountain, otherwise I wouldn't get there in time. I was on little health as I one-cycled the dragon. And on my second to last bed, I ran out of health. I recorded this immediately after.
I know I should be like kind of sad and down on myself because I could have had a sub 16 time, but I messed it up. But I feel so good. Like, sub 15 is possible. And that was huge proof of it. I mean, it was like a minute behind pace, but it's only a minute. I can make up a minute in so many different ways.
By this point, it was late December, and I was totally obsessed with watching other people speedrun. You'd actually be surprised how many tricks you can learn by watching other people. Speedrunners will post all of their failed runs to second channels, and I would watch like all of them on multiple channels. I've watched them all. And I ended the year learning 2 new strategies. The first is knowing what direction the portal room is in. Strongholds are like mazes. You don't know which path to go down to get to the stronghold. But if you go to the beginning of any stronghold generation, you can tell this because there's a staircase that doesn't have anything at the top. You can again use the pie chart and zooming in your FOV to see where the portal room is. In our case, the orange section of the pie chart is pretty low. But if we go to the right, it spikes up a ton. Flying forward, we can see this is where the portal room is. The second was running multiple Minecrafts at once. This was extremely useful because 99.9% of your runs will end with you resetting the world. Even with 4 Minecrafts running though, I was still spending the majority of my time sorting through worlds. But when I watched these top level runners, they would load 9 or 15 Minecrafts at once. I knew I had to do this. This would increase my odds of getting a sub 15 9-fold. So I looked up a tutorial on how to do it and failed miserably. I'm supposed to be loading 9 right now, and I'm getting 1 that's super glitched out. It took me 3 days and many hours of trying before I finally gave up and had to contact the guy who created the code that allows you to run 9 at once. If you're watching, thank you, Spectre. The same day I got it working, I started hitting crazy paces. 2-minute enters and 4-minute bastions. Then it happened, entering the end in 14 minutes, and the dragon was coming down to perch. All I had to do is something I'd done hundreds of times, one cycle the dragon. But the nerves got to me, and I messed up my floor bed. I had to think fast. There were only 2 ways I could damage the dragon. My axe, which I pulled out, but if I hit him 6 times, he would fly away. I hit him 5 times, I couldn't hit again. The dragon would not die. In desperation, I tried to craft a respawn anchor, messing up with the crafting. This would be the fastest run ever. Everything was down to this last anchor.
No! Are you kidding me? That was gonna be so sick, dude.
A sliver of the dragon's health was all that stood between me and a sub 15. Technically, it would have been like 1507, but that didn't matter to me. I was more determined than ever, putting in crazy hours. Shipwrecks. I had memorized every variation. I knew them like the back of my hand. Magma ravines. I'd spent hours learning how to do them. Once I was in the nether, I could tell there was a bastion close. Very close, but it was across a lava lake. I'd have to speed bridge. One mess up, and it'd be another death. I threw a pearl. Lowering the render distance, I could move away without being teleported. I went back to the bastion. I could activate the pearl at any moment. The pigs gave me everything I needed. It was time to find Blaze. It was a Soul Sand Valley, meaning there were more Blaze, but double the monsters. I couldn't die here. 8 minutes. I was realizing this was my best pace ever. Out of the nether with everything I needed before the first sun had set. I threw my eye. I had to measure it precisely. I couldn't afford to lose one. This was it, but was I digging down at the right spot? What if I was wrong? It wasn't. I saw the 12-minute mark. This was the fastest I'd ever been. The end game. I could feel the nerves starting to get to me. Yeah! I actually did it! What? That was such a long time coming! Oh my gosh! Yes! What do we want? Low flying airplanes. When do we want them?
I screwed myself over.